Yo, what is going on, guys? Got some more 1.5 format games for you guys. I am playing what is arguably one of the most scummy decks and most hated decks in this game that no one really likes playing against, at least that's how I feel. That is going to be Rookie Rush. Now, you might not be able to tell it from my hand, but I am playing Rookie Rush, and for some reason, I just decided to brick like crazy. Like, people ask me if Rookie Rush can brick, and this is what you're looking at is a pretty shit hand. Like, I'm not gonna lie, 3 Hammer Spark would be like kind of good if I maybe like 10 card in hand. But yeah, that's just pretty terrible. Anyways, guys, I'm going up against a sort of like BlitzGreymon like budget version of red, which I think is pretty cool. You don't really need to run Omnimon to make a red deck viable. BlitzGreymon by himself, and you pair that with some cards like Lavaguridamon, Groundramon, the very cheap evolution, Ultimate Champion, stuff like that. It just makes it very efficient and still pretty powerful. And of course, you got cards like Gaia Force that can just counter basically anything in the game. So my opponent was going to set up with that Greymon. Now, I did actually get some rookies set up. Of course, basically what you want to do with this deck is, it's self-explanatory, right? You just rush your opponent with rookies. But the thing is you do kind of have to be careful about, like, your management of your rookies, because you can't just throw them at your opponent's security and expect to win the game all the time. Now, I'm definitely not an expert by any means. I'm not that proficient at playing this deck. I've only played it a couple times, never in a tournament or anything. But it is kind of fun to playing Rookie Rush does kind of put the stress on your opponent, and it makes them like very cognizant of the fact that their security might just go down to 0 in like 1 or 2 turns. So like as soon as you saw as soon as I played those first few rookies, my opponent just like goes into like, okay, I need to do something about these guys quick, otherwise I'm just gonna straight up lose the game. And then you pair that with stuff like Puppetmon, who was able to rest his Greymon, put it, suspend it, so that he won't be able to attack the following turn, and then, I'll just gain memory off the Puppetmon. I already got Hammer Spark, so I'll gain memory off of that as well. And then you got a very, very aggressive deck, a deck that can put pressure on your opponent, and you don't really care about what happens to your security. I mean, you're not playing any, like, aside from, like, Flower Cannon, Hammer Spark, those cards are very good in security, but you're not playing any, like, blockers or, like, Gaia Forces or anything like that. So my opponent does have the Groundramon set up with the tie as well. So if we do see a Digimon with the 4 more materials, it will gain security attack +1. Now my opponent was actually going to Digivolve the Groundramon on top of the Greymon there, but he decided to go for the other Greymon, the +2000 DP Greymon, and then he goes BlitzGreymon. Unfortunately, BlitzGreymon, fantastic card, but against my specific deck, against this specific matchup, it's pretty bad. Like, the piercing's good, 12,000 DP, like, you're not gonna, it doesn't matter, because, like, the strongest thing in my security is, like, Puppetmon. So I'm just going to start swinging some more, and I did run into a Gaia Force, which is super unfortunate. Now, I did attack with a Puppetmon first, gain the memory, and then, he is going to kill the Vmon, which is a pretty good call, since I already attacked with the Puppetmon. He would have just lost there if he, if he didn't play his cards right. But anyways, so the Vmon's gonna die. I'm going to go into Kabumon, draw into the X Vmon, and if you guys see my hand, you might think like, oh my god, dude, you're so sacky. I go double Hammer Spark, X Vmon, Digivolve, X Vmon's effect unsuspends any level 4 lower Digimon I have on my field, unsuspend the Gorillamon, and then attack for game. So that felt pretty satisfying. Now game 2, my opponent is going to start, of course, again, he's going to start with the Agumon. That's the promo Agumon, gives any Greymons +2000 DP, and then we got the security attack +1 Greymon. So my opponent is trying to build up his, like, big boss monster. And, sorry about that, guys. I drew like 20 cards. I don't know what happened there. Tabletop Simulator is kind of hard to navigate sometimes. But anyways, he's just trying to build up his big boss monster. And, punch for like multiple security cards, because we saw, he's playing Tai and Greymon and all sorts of stuff like that. So then I'm just going to go my jamming Vmon on top of the Upamon, which is pretty sweet. So if he does decide to maybe play a Cordramon or something from his hand, I will be gaining a card off that. He decides to swing early with the Lavaguridamon, which I agree with. Like, he knows I'm playing Rookie Rush now. Like, typically you wouldn't want to do that to, like, risk dying, but he knows I'm playing Rookie Rush, so he's just going to check 2 cards with the Lavaguridamon. And then on my field, I just have the Armadillomon as well as the Aruramon. And then we are going to see an Agumon played for 3 for his turn. Now, he is still a 5 security, but I'm just going to start swinging. I'm going to draw one off the Upamon, run into the BlitzGreymon there. Fortunately for me, Vmon does have jamming, so he's not going to die regardless of how strong the opponent's security Digimon is, which is super nice. That's what makes Vmon so good. And then, of course, you pair him with something like Upamon, and it just makes for a really, really good combo. Going to swing with the Armadillomon. Unfortunately, he is going to die. Armadillomon's an interesting tech choice. Some people like him, some people don't. He is a 2-play 4,000 DP, Digimon. However, he's a 1 evolution cost, and we might see that come up later on. But, you're just trying to, like, swing into your opponent's security, but like having the very high DP Digimon like Arurumon there, who's a 5,000, who you will never want to evolve. Well, I mean, first you can't, because I'm not playing any Green Digi-Eggs, but like even if you could, she's a 2 evolution cost, so that would just be terrible. But you really just want to like swing with high evolution Digimon, and then if they end up surviving, then that's just like a bonus for you. Like you saw my Arurumon didn't die because I ran into the Monodramon there, so then I could just go Vegemon, draw a free card, and then like if he doesn't get rid of my Vegemon or my Vmon there, then he's in big trouble, because then that's 3 swings I have for the next turn. You'll see I'm also playing Flower Cannon because this is a mixed green and blue deck, and I think that's the best way to run Rookie Rush, at least for the 1.5 format, because you have access to a card like Davis, and Davis is a tamer that when you play him, you get to reveal the top 3, and then if you have a blue and green Digimon amongst those, you can add those to your hand, and it's just super good. And of course, you've got other cards like, Flower Cannon I mentioned, but then, maybe Positron Laser or other techs like that. So then my opponent is going to swing over with the Dark Tyrannomon, and he's going to play a Corgimon for 5. You don't want to give Rookie Rush that much memory, but it wasn't a bad play, like, by any means, because now I only have 1 attack for the next turn. Or at least like for this turn, and then he does have the blocker, so like usually, I'd probably just throw my Gabumon into security, but now with the Corgimon there, I might go Gorillamon first, and then if he does want to block, he'll have to crash, because Gorillamon is 6,000, and that's why playing the 1-cost evolution Digimon like Vegemon and Gorillamon is super good. Even though it's like a quote-unquote Rookie Rush deck, you still do want to play, small champion count. Some people even play like, if you're playing like an Imperial Dramon version, then you're playing like Dino B and Imperial Dramon stuff, of course. So I'm going to end up swinging with the Gorillamon. And I actually did attack his, I believe it was Dark Tyrannomon. I wanted to crash there because if he blocked, his Corgimon would die. If he didn't block, then Dark Tyrannomon dies. And I really didn't want to leave it up for the next turn. I didn't want to let him get an ultimate on unfield or anything. You could argue that was the wrong play, but if I attack security and he blocked, then he'd lose a Digimon still. So maybe that, I don't know. So you guys can let me know if you thought that was the right play or not. So he's going to swing once again with the Lava Greedamon. That is the Lava Greedamon with an extra security attack because of the Greymon there checking 2 cards, putting me down to 1 security. And then he's actually going to Gaia Force my Gorillamon, which feels bad, but like he really just doesn't have a choice. Like, as memory inefficient as that is, like I'm not going beyond, like we see Puppet Mom, I'm not going beyond a champion. So like he really just needs to get rid of the bodies on my field, because if I start attacking again, he's going to lose. Like if he didn't have a Gaia Force in the security, then he would just lose. So I'm going to play the Davis for 4, because I went to 6 with the Gaia Force, play Davis for 4, and then added a card to my hand, added the Electmon, I think. And then I'm just going to play 2 more Electmon, and that is actually going to be game, because regardless, there's nothing in my security, like regardless of what I do, there's nothing in my security that would help me, even if I, did have a Hammer Spark. There was like he had 2 memory. If I had a Flower Cannon, that might have done something, but it actually just wasn't a Flower Cannon. We checked, but anyway. So I'm going to go first for game 3. I'm going to go Gomamon, which is another like interesting tech that is like good situationally because he's a 3-cost rookie, which of course like goes against kind of the philosophy of Rookie Rush, where you're trying to have the most memory efficient turns. But you do gain a memory every single time, like every single time he dies. I don't know how many times you're killing him, but you gain a memory whenever he dies. So like when the Gorillamon dies, I'll gain a memory, and then if he does have a Digimon without materials, which he does, and I'm thinking he's not like respecting the Upamon, like he's not playing around Upamon at all, because I'm getting free draws constantly, and that's the thing with Rookie Rush. When your hand is gone, your hand is gone. So he's like really like letting me get that replenishing those, the replenishing my hand, getting those cards to my hand off of the Upamon, which is always super sweet. And then, I got the Vegemon, Digivolve that, drew another card, and I still have 2 memory, and now he's down to security, and now I can kind of just memory lock him because he doesn't, well, I would be able to if I had an optimal hand, but because he doesn't have any tamers, and he seems to have brick because we don't see any rookies and we see Greymon. But I'm just going to put game on board and then play the Puppetmon, suspend the Greymon so that if he does go into anything, he won't be able to attack with it, right? Because if he goes into BlitzGreymon or something, okay, that's sweet, but it will be suspended, so he won't be able to do anything. Like, he won't be able to hit any of my Digimon with the piercing. Like, 12,000 DP piercing is pretty scary, so we do see the BlitzGreymon there, so he's actually going to finally resolve his effect. Now, he chose initially the Gorillamon, which I was like, okay, that makes sense, right? I've got the Gomamon underneath, but then he decided to change it to the Vegemon, which I was like, okay, man, you can change it, but I thought that was a little bit weird. Maybe he thought because he didn't want me digivolving to like an XVmon or something, which I can understand. But I did end up gaining a memory with the Gorillamon because he ended up dying. So then I'm going to swing with that. And then I ran to the Metal Greymon, gained a memory, swung with the Puppetmon, gained another memory, which is pretty sweet. And then I've got 2 Digimon left on field. He has 1 security, 1 blocker, so I'm going to swing with the Arurumon, and then he's going to block it, of course, and then I'm going to swing with the other Arurumon, and I needed this card to survive, because if you can see my hand, I have Armadillo XVmon. I could play the Armadillo, go XVmon, that would be 4 memory, unsuspend the Arurumon, go for game. But of course he Gaia Forced the Arurumon and not the Puppetmon. So I'm just going to Digivolve the Armadillo for its cost of 1, which is super bad, but at this point I was like, okay, I just need a rookie to come out next turn instead of playing him. So instead of playing him, I got, the draw off of it and stuff. So then I'm going to play the Puppetmon and then suspend his BlitzGreymon again, or I think it was the Quadramon or something. Oh yeah, it doesn't matter which one because that Puppetmon, the BlitzGreymon was suspended from before, and then none of them become unsuspended during his unsuspend phase. And anyways, he's going to go into BlitzGreymon with all the memory I gave him. Can't digivolve anything because I've got 2 puppets. He's going to attack over one of them, hit me with piercing. Now, you could argue I wasn't playing around Omnimon, like BT1 Omnimon at all. And you're right, I wasn't, which you probably should. But I knew for a fact, like, he wasn't playing it. So, like, maybe that's also kind of bad. But yeah. But yeah, guys, that is actually just going to be game. My opponent is going to end up scooping because there is nothing he could do. So, guys, if you did enjoy the video, go ahead, let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.